All right. I'm going to share my screen. Let me know if you're able to see. Able to see my screen? Anyone?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right. Okay, so in the last time in the demo, I tried to explain you what is the background of Linux. How did we end up with Linux as an operating system for the servers around the globe? And the popular one is what? Red Hat Linux, Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Okay. So this is the course where we learn the fundamentals of Linux. And by learning this, you can comfortably work on any Linux distribution, may it be Red Hat Linux, SUSE Linux, anything. But we are focusing more on Red Hat because we are preparing you for the Red Hat certification as well, which is RHCSA. All right. So let me just give you an idea how are we going to proceed. Number one, it is going to be a weekday class. Okay, so which means Monday to Friday. Timing is the same, 9:30 to 10:30 p.m. India IST. All right. And as you know, this is a live class. We also record it so that you can review it later. So the recorded classes are available on student portal. I hope you all have access to the student portal, right? Okay. So this is one thing. Second thing is the class material or whatever I'm using to, teach you Linux, the ebooks and the class notes, etc. Okay. All these will be available in a Google Drive, which I'm going to prepare for you guys. Okay.
And guys, we are
Okay. So
official Red Hat
yeah.
partner. So if somebody is interested to do a global certifications, they can enroll training plus global certifications also.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah. So as I said, all the class material will be provided to you on a Google Drive. So what normally I do is I keep all the material in advance in the Google Drive and I share the Google Drive link and you can just simply download it. But on daily basis, I will be uploading the class notes. Okay, so just keep an eye on them. All right, so by tomorrow, I guess you'll be having this link in the class portal, sorry, on the student portal, and you can, check all the details. All right. So this is something that I wanted to tell you. Next is, okay, so topic for today. So this is day one. And on day one, normally I start with, creating a virtual machine, which is of Red Hat Enterprise Linux version 9, so that you can immediately start practicing or immediately have a kind of a go through of Linux, how it looks like, and, just get comfortable with it. Okay. So as I said, we are going to start with creation of a virtual machine. And for that, we need some tools. What tools? One is the installer DVD file, or we call it ISO. So ISO of Red Hat Enterprise Linux version 9. Second is the virtualization platform. We are going to use VMware Player. Okay. Although there are other available as well, other platforms as well, like Hyper-V or maybe VirtualBox. Okay, so but as a fresher or as a beginner, I would recommend you guys to use VMware Player. It's easy to use, have good compatibility with Linux operating systems. Okay, and it also supports smart install or auto install. You need not to do anything; it will automatically install Linux for you. But this is something which I don't recommend. You need to have that exposure. How to install Linux? Okay, so this is something which we are going to do today. And let's jump to the slide. So I'm jumping to directly slide number 9. Okay, and tomorrow onwards, we start with slide number 1 or 2, like that. Okay. All right. So yeah. So how to install a virtual machine or how to create a virtual machine? It's very easy. As I said, get the DVD ISO file, Red Hat Enterprise Linux 9 ISO file, which will come with a 1-year developer license. I told you last time, Red Hat Enterprise Linux is free to download, free to use, but to get timely updates, you need to have subscription, a license. Okay, so we will get this 1-year developer license for free. It is for students and all, students, beginners, or who wants to practice Linux, check out how it works. So this is the link. In fact, let me paste it in the chat as well. Hold on. Where is the chat box? Okay, yes. Share chat. Yeah. Okay, so this is the link. You can simply click on it and it will open a new tab. Oh, sorry, open a website from Red Hat only. It's a blog, or maybe you can say it's an article from Red Hat. It says no cost RHEL developer subscription now available. So on this page, just scroll down to the last part. You will see the button download. Simply maybe right click, open a new tab, or maybe just simply click on it, left click. So when this link opens, you will get to see download RHEL at no cost button, red button. Okay. So when you click on this red button, if you're not logged in, obviously you won't be. It will ask you to log into the Red Hat account or create a new account. Here, register for a Red Hat account. Okay, I'm sure you don't have any Red Hat account right now. So simply click on this link for registration. Fill in the details like choose a unique username, choose a strong password, first name, last name, email ID, and phone number, job title. Now this is something that you can use as a relevant or dummy value. It's your wish. Okay, if you're working somewhere, use that information. Otherwise, like in the company, you can say not applicable or something like that. Okay, country, region, address, and there are some opt-in options. You can select the appropriate and click create my account. So once you do this registration, you create your Red Hat ID. Okay, Red Hat login. We call it RHN ID. Along with that, you get 1-year free developer license. Okay, so once you get the developer license, you are good to go. You can use it and you can get the timely updates. I'll tell you how to configure that later, not now. Okay, so this is how you register. Now, once you register, again, obviously, you go back to the same page, the article. You again click on download. Now, this time you fill in the login information, login credentials. Okay, so I'm going to fill in mine. Okay, so once you log in, it should automatically start the download maybe within 10-20 seconds. If it doesn't happen, you can click on this direct link. Okay, just simply click on it. The download will start. You will see the save as box. Save it somewhere where you have at least 9 GB free. Okay, so it is going to take at least 8 to 9 GB of space. All right. Okay, so this is how you download the ISO file. Step number 1. Step number 2 is download VMware Player. I can share you the link, but just go to google.com or the search engine, uh, type in VMware Player download, click on download VMware Workstation Player. Click on it. Okay, now this is the product page. And you have to select this one, try Workstation 17 Player for Windows. Click on download now. And when you click it, obviously the VMware player software will start downloading. It will show you the save as box dialog box, and you can simply start the download. Okay. In fact, let me give you the direct link as well. Copy the link address in the chat. Here it is. Okay. So these are the two links which you can use for now and prepare the machine. So once you have installed VMware Player, you simply double click and install it. It is just next, finish. Maybe your system says reboot your system or reboot the machine. Okay, go ahead. You can restart Windows. And I hope if you're using Mac, you won't be able to use VMware Player. Then you need to use UTM. If you are on M1 or M2 silicon, Apple silicon. So MacBooks with Apple silicon, VMware Player will not run. It won't function. You have to use alternative, which is called UTM. Okay, there are plenty of videos available on UTM. You can just check it out and install the RHCL. ISO stays the same. You can use the same ISO. All right. So once you finish installing VMware Player, go to Start and search for it, VMware Player, and here it is. Click on it. It will open. All right. And this is how you get to see the home page of the application. On the left hand side, you see the virtual machines which I have created. In your case, it will be 0, nothing. Only home option will be there. So now you have to create a virtual machine, new virtual machine. The first option here is create a new virtual machine. So before I explain you the process, if you have any doubts till now, you can ask me, get them cleared, or any questions, anything. You can ask me anything.
Sir, I'm using Mac, sir. In that it is not an
Yeah.
embedded chip, so I can download any VMware right on my Mac.
Okay. So if you are using Mac with Mac OS on Intel chip, Intel processor,
Yeah.
then you can use VMware Fusion. Okay.
Okay.
Or there is some other tool called Parallels. Okay.
Okay,
Just check
parallel.
out the costing if they are available for free or not. Okay.
Okay. Sir,
Yeah.
and
Just check.
before downloading the OSI, I need to first log in, right? Like I need to register my thing, right?
Yes. When you click on download, it will automatically redirect to the login page. And
Okay.
if you don't have the login credentials, you simply click on register to Red Hat. And that's it. When you register like this, you are registering as a developer, and therefore you get a free Red Hat subscription for 1 year.
Okay,
That
sir.
is called a developer subscription or
Okay.
developer license, like that. Okay.
Okay. That is for only
Yeah.
for 1 year valid, right?
This is only for 1 year, but don't worry. After 1 year, it expires, and then you click renew. It automatically renews. Okay. You
Okay.
don't have to get another ID and all. No. You
Yeah.
simply click on renew. Renewal is done. Simple.
Sir, is this class recording?
Yes, this class is being recorded. Also, it's live on YouTube. Um, the recordings are available on the student portal.
Oh,
I hope you might have got the access till now for the
yeah.
student portal. Yeah, so you
Yeah.
can just browse to the course, and then you will see this video. Not immediately, obviously, because when the
Afterward.
video is uploaded, yeah, it takes some time to encrypt and all. Then the video is available. Okay, so
Okay, sir.
encryption is happening. So or we can say the data processing happens, and then the video is available. So
Okay.
maybe by noon, tomorrow noon, it will be available. Okay. All right. So let's move to the next part. Next part is create a new virtual machine. So simply click on this option first. A wizard opens. What is a wizard? Wizard is like next, finish. Multiple boxes, dialog boxes. So in this wizard, the first page, it says use the installer disk or the ISO file, or I will install operating system later. There are three options. Select the third one. If you choose the middle one, it will accept the ISO. That's not a problem, but it will automatically install Red Hat Linux, which I don't want. I want you guys to, experience how it works. So use the last option for now. I will install operating system later. Right now, we just create a blank virtual machine with CPU, RAM, and no operating system. Okay. When you click next on the page number 2, it is asking you now what kind of operating system is it that you're going to install. So simply click on Linux and from the drop down, select Red Hat Enterprise Linux version 9 64-bit. Okay. Click on next. Now this is asking you on what location you wish to store the virtual machine files. As a recommendation, if you have more than 50 GB free on C drive, go ahead. Don't make any changes. Just simply click on next because this path is of C drive. If not, choose a different location. Also, don't forget to rename your machine. Like this is what September Linux. So I will say it is September-Linux. So the name of the virtual machine which I'm going to create is September-Linux. Click on next. Now the fourth page is asking you to allocate some storage. Obviously, this is a virtual machine. It needs to have CPU, RAM, and hard disk. So it is asking you how much of hard disk do you want to allocate from C drive or D drive, whatever you selected, that much of space will be used. Okay. So 20 GB is more than enough. Stay with it. Simply click on next. Now, before you click finish, just make sure these details. Hard disk 20 GB, memory 2 GB, 2 GB is fine. Others devices, 2 CPU cores, this is also fine, 2 CPU is fine. So 2 GB RAM, 2 CPU, 20 GB hard disk, this is appropriate. Simply click on finish. By clicking finish, you have just created a blank virtual machine. It's just like a server or a desktop or a laptop without operating system. If you power it on, it will say bootable device not found, bootable media not found, like that, or no operating system. There will be some sort of errors. So we need not to power it on like this. We again go to the virtual machine settings and load the ISO. So right click on it on the machine you created. Select the option settings. Okay, so right click settings. Here you see the fourth option, sorry. It is CD DVD. And now we need to use the ISO image here. So the last option, use ISO image. It's a radio button, click on it. Click on browse, find the ISO file which you have downloaded. In my case, it is D drive, downloads, and here it is RHCL base OS ISO. Okay, click on open. That's it. So this is what you want to do. You should do. I mean, click on CD DVD, load the ISO, and that's it. All right, and simply click on OK at the bottom. And that's it. Machine is prepared for the installation. Okay, we have prepared the machine for installation. Now we can go ahead and play the virtual machine. Play means start the machine and it will show you the output on a separate window. Click on play virtual machine and this new window appears. It is blank right now, but very soon you are going to see the options. Okay, let's wait. All right. So these are the options which are coming from the DVD itself. It says the first option says install Red Hat Linux. Second option, test this ISO file and then install Linux. Third option is troubleshoot. There is nothing to troubleshoot right now. So simply select the first option, install Red Hat Enterprise Linux 9.1. Enter, select and enter. Now, what is going to happen? So the installation happens with the help of a software called Anaconda. This Anaconda software will get loaded from this DVD. And once it is loaded, it will start running. It will ask you for some options. And then it is just like next, finish. Okay. It is also a simple installation. No rocket science. But yes, when we are dealing with partitions, then you need to, create custom partition set, which we'll do later, not now. All right, so I think the installer has loaded. and we will be getting some options like language selection and all. Here it is. So this is the application called the Linux installer or Red Hat installer. First option you see is the language selection. Select English. United States is fine. Click on continue. Now you see so many options here. Don't worry, you don't have to play with all of them. Just couple of them. Just click and finish. It's like that. So what are these options? On the left, you see keyboard, language support, date and time. For now, no changes because date and time is as per my current location. So my time zone is Indian Standard Time, so it is fine. Asia Kolkata is fine. Language again, no change. Keyboard layout, no change. In the middle, we have software. Connect to Red Hat. I don't want to connect to Red Hat right now. We will do it when the time comes or when we are at the appropriate chapter. Installation source. We are using a DVD ISO. No need to change it. Keep it as it is. Software selection. By default, the operating system Red Hat will be installed with GUI with graphics. If you want to, if you don't want to install graphics, you can click on it and select server or maybe minimal install. Okay, so we'll see these options later, but right now stick to server with GUI option. Okay, that's fine. As I said, we don't have to play with these settings. Defaults are good. Then lastly on the system, the first option is installation destination, and it is in red, also exclamation sign. Red means you have to take some action. Click on it and see what it says. It says 20 GB hard disk has been detected on this virtual machine. How do you want to partition it? How to install Linux? See, we are freshers right now. We don't know partitioning and all. So the best option here is what? Automatic. That's it. Make sure automatic radio button is enabled or clicked and simply click on done. You see this done at the top, blue button. That's it. So you just have to click installation destination and done. You get out of it. Next is k dump, which is kernel dump. I explain you later. No need to change any setting. Second last, network and host name. Click on it. Make sure the network is connected. The toggle switch is on, and your machine has got an IP address. Like my machine has got like 140 as the IP, 192.168.211.140. Okay, make sure you get the IP address. And lastly, here it is host name, the field, host name field. So just use any meaningful name. I will use a name like September SEPT. That's it, and apply. So my machine or my operating system will be called September. The host name is September. Okay. Click on done. Okay. Last option, security profile. No need to make any changes here. By default is fine. And now coming to the user settings. It says root password. What is root and why do we need to set the password of root? So root is the admin or the administrator in Linux operating system. Just like we have administrator on Windows, right? So we have administrator user or administrator account on Windows. Similarly, there is the admin user called root, ROOT, and you have to set a root password before you even begin installation. I am going to set Red Hat as a password. It is a weak password. Doesn't matter. We are practicing Red Hat right now. Sorry, we are practicing RHCL. So weak is okay for now. So click on root password, set up a password, Red Hat I'm using. And it says lock root account. Do not make any changes here. Allow root SSH login with password. Yeah, maybe you can select it. Even if you don't select, doesn't matter. Okay. All right. So now since we are using a weak password, there is a problem. And the problem is it won't continue. You have to press done twice. So press done twice. And that's it. You're done. Okay. Now click on begin installation and see what happens. All right. So obviously the installation has started. Some packages means the applications and installer files are being loaded from the ISO. If required, downloaded from the internet. Like that. So it works like this. Now this installation is going to take at least 20 minutes. Okay. So let me do one thing. Let me just let it happen in the background. I will open VMware Player again, and I will open some other virtual machine which is already prepared. So let me use August Linux. It's here. It is for the August batch which is running. Okay. If I click on Play Virtual Machine, so let's assume the installation finished. Next is this. We start the machine and we log into the system. Like that. All right. So it is loading. Just a second. Okay. So this is the login page. You see a user already created by the name student. I'll tell you how did I create this user later. Okay. For now, what we will do is we will just click on not listed and I will log in as root straight away. Root Red Hat. So basically what happens when this installation finishes, it will ask for a reboot. You see this reboot system button? It is disabled right now. When you reboot the system, your system restarts, not the system, sorry, virtual machine. So the VM restarts and it will immediately log you in and it will ask you for some steps, initial steps. So initial part of the initial step is to create a non-root user, or we can say a non-admin user. So we are not supposed to log in as root directly. So if you're working somewhere in any organization, you know it very well. You don't log in directly as a admin account or administrator. You log in as yourself, whatever username is created for you. Okay, so similarly in Linux, you log in as you or a test user which you have created. Okay, so as part of that initial steps, initial login steps, you have to create a non-root user or a normal user. You just have to given the username, first name, last name, like that, and that's it. So this is how I created the user student. Okay, you'll be doing the same when you finish installing. Okay, so when you log into this machine, it will look like this. Basically, I have expanded or went into full screen. It looks like this, but on the top of this application, VMware Player, you see this option, enter full screen mode, click on it, and this display will auto adjust based on the resolution of your display, and that's it. You are into the virtual machine. Okay, so there are some buttons here like, just a second, let me move this over. Okay, I can't move this. Okay, here is fine. So on the left, you see activities. Click on activities. It will show you how many workspaces are available. Okay, at the same time, you see a dock at the bottom, and all the applications are, pinned over here. Click on show applications, and you will see all the other applications. Okay, so this is one thing. See, I'm showing you all this so that you can also check what's happening here. What are the options available. Second thing you see is in the center top, this date and time. Click on it. It will open the notifications area. On the right, the calendar and the events area, like that. On the extreme right, you see some icons. First icon is for the network. Second is for power on, power off, suspend, restart, like that. So it's a group of icons. You can click anywhere in this group. It will show you a drop down. In this drop down, you see some network related options, Bluetooth related, laptop performance profile or server performance profile, like balanced, high performance, power saving, like that. Then we have settings, just like control panel in Windows. We have settings in Linux. Lock is the screen lock. Then power off, log out options. So in this options, you have suspend, like pause or hibernate. Second is restart and power off and log out. Log out means log out as the current user student, and then you can use a different user to log in. Okay, let's go to settings now and see. So setting looks like this. All the options are on the left. And let me just try to change the background. I don't like this dark one. Maybe like this. Yeah, this is more bright. Yeah, brighter than the previous one. Okay, you can change the background. You can change login screen background, the desktop background, or even the settings like network settings, sound settings, display settings. Okay, there is one thing that you should change immediately. That is the screen lock. If you are not doing anything on this machine, it will automatically lock. And it's a problem. See, it's a problem for me while I'm teaching. So what I normally do, I go to privacy, first of all, privacy. In the privacy, screen lock, blank screen delay, I change it to never. Automatic screen lock off, and go back, go to power settings. Here it is, power. Make sure screen blank is never, and that's it. Okay, so that the machine keeps on running, screen will not lock. Okay, and other settings also you can just have a look. Click on about to know more about the operating system which you have just installed. Hardware model of the virtual machine, it is on VMware. That's why it says VMware platform. Memory this much, CPU processor this much. This is the CPU into two, means two CPUs are connected. Okay, all the other things, disk capacity and all. Operating system installed is RHCL 9.1, OS type 64-bit, all these things. Okay, so this is the first step. You should install a virtual machine because, as I said, if you start working as a system administrator, maybe within 2 or 3 or 4 months, it would be expected from you to maybe deploy the machines. Sometimes, create a virtual machine, install operating system, and prepare the machine for handover to the client or to the application team. All right. So this is how we're going to start the practice. Any doubts? Anyone? And guys, if you have any doubts, you don't want to unmute, you can, ask a question in the chat as well. Anyone? Any doubt?
No, no doubt. I'm still
All right,
downloading.
perfect. No worries.
Yeah.
Okay, you started downloading. Okay. It's gonna take some time. It's like 9 GB.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the step number one. Install RHEL and play with the settings and all. See, ultimately, we are going to work on this part. Let me show it to you. Click on activities and open this application called terminal. So this is the place where we are going to learn the complete Linux. And in fact, let me modify the font size, change the font size. Yeah, now this is good. So this is called terminal, and terminal is the application which provides you command line interface. What is a command line interface? This black screen and white text where you type the commands and you get the output. Okay. Okay, so this is the place where you type the commands and you get the output. Why not graphically? Why can't we learn Linux graphically? Yes, we can learn Linux graphically, but it's of no use. The reason is in the enterprise or in the organizations, Linux is not installed with graphics. When you install Linux with graphics and without graphics, there is a difference of installed applications. So Linux operating system without graphics may have only 600 applications installed or softwares or programs installed. But with graphics, there may be approximately 1200 applications. Okay, so we don't say these are not directly software which you know open and use. These are softwares used by the operating system for core functionality. Okay, we also call them packages. So 600 packages without GUI, and more than 1200 packages with GUI. Okay, so this is the difference. Now, in the organization, lesser the packages, the compliant the system. The compliance level will be high because less vulnerabilities need to be fixed. In 1200 applications or packages, there may be, let's say, more than 200 vulnerabilities, which means every month when this server will be updated, at least 200 softwares will be updated. Whereas in 600 packages, obviously less number of softwares or packages will be updated for security fix. Okay, so this is the reason, primary reason, that we don't have graphics. Also, when we connect to our Linux operating system or a Linux server, we don't connect with graphics. We connect with the command line interface. How? Let's say you're working as a system admin or a DevOps engineer, automation engineer, anything. You need to connect to a Linux machine. You're sitting in your workplace. Maybe your location is in Delhi, India, for example, and the server is in a different region altogether. Let's say UK. So there is some data center in UK, maybe in London, and in that data center, there are the virtual machines and physical machines deployed. Okay, so how do you connect and access the server? You connect using the CLI and a tool called SSH. Okay, and it looks like this. In fact, let me show it to you. So if I SSH to a machine, this is again another virtual machine which is running in my laptop. If I log into the machine, and this is how I get access to the machine, and I can then run the same commands. Okay, so what is this application? This is called terminal, and it is in Windows. Just like there is PowerShell, right? Let me open it. PowerShell. So this is Windows PowerShell. I can open the PowerShell here in Windows. It looks different because I have changed the background color. Don't worry. In fact, let me change it because text is not, it's barely visible. Hold on. It is a quick fix. Settings, PowerShell, appearance. This is not the right one. Let's use this. This good. Looks good, right? Save. Let me clear the screen, or maybe in a new tab. No. Okay. Okay. Now we get to see that. All right. So this is the same PowerShell in Windows. You can see C drive user Amitav. I can use SSH command in PowerShell and mention the username and the IP of the machine or the host name of the machine. What did I use there? Hold on. I used, oh, sorry. $128. Okay. So 128, enter, password is Red Hat, and I log into the machine. So I'm from here, from this line onwards, I am in Linux operating system. And from above this line, I'm into Windows. And I can run Linux commands. Okay. So this is how we enter the system. This is the quickest and less data consuming method. Less data consuming means obviously network is involved, right? From my workplace to the server, let's say in the UK data center or London data center, the network is established, and we are going to send fraction of a data as compared to GUI, and we are connected to the server. We can do all the things which we can do with GUI. Using GUI, we can't do certain things, but with CLI, we can do all those things as well. For example, there is a website and there are 20 links, and on all those 20 links, there are 20 different softwares. So if I ask you to, just do something that you download everything from all those 20 links with GUI, it's not that easy. Maybe you have to create a program or something like that. But using command line Linux, I can, find all the links and I can download everything within the command itself. I can just write one command and it will happen. Obviously, I have to run some loop as well. Okay, so it's a different story. I'll tell you when we reach shell scripting, I'll tell you how to do it. Okay, so this is, this is the way how we work. We as a system admin, okay, we use a terminal software, or technically we call it SSH client. So we are using SSH client to connect to the machine, and then we administer the machine, create users, user management, patching management, hard disk management, all of that stuff, security management. Everything is done with this method. Okay, don't worry, we are not jumping immediately to command line interface. We will stick to GUI for at least 2 to 3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks minimum, and then we will gradually move to SSH CLI. Okay, any doubts?
So what does SSH stands for?
Okay, SSH stands for secure shell. Okay, secure shell. Now, what is shell and how it is secured? So this is something that I'll be, covering from slide 1 onwards. So maybe tomorrow we start with that. Okay. All right. So installation has finished on the virtual machine and it says reboot. Okay, let's click on reboot and see what's happening after this. Okay, it's gonna take some time initially, maybe 30, 40 seconds. I think it's stuck. Is it? Let me just power this machine off, not required anymore. Okay, let me do the forceful shutdown and I'll restart it properly. Okay, so it's off. Let me again open VMware player. Open the machine. In fact, right click on the machine, go to settings and remove that ISO. Click on DVD CD. Make sure it is not connected at power on, uncheck it. Okay, do not connect it power on. Now we can power on the machine. It should work now. Okay, finally it's working. Okay, so as I said, you directly enter the machine and let me go full screen immediately. And this is the initial setup. Okay, so you directly log in and you are presented with a setup. Click on start setup. I don't want to share the location services, start the location services. Next, I don't want to connect any of my personal account. Next, skip, sorry. Now it says about you. Now this is the place where you mention a username and a password. Not a password, just a username. So full name, I'm going to use student as a full name, and username will also be student. So you can also do the same. Create a user by the name student. Okay, and we will practice as a student user every time. So that's it. No need to set up the password. The same password will be used, whatever you had set up for root. I use Red Hat. So Red Hat is the password for student user as well. Click on next. Oh, it's asking for password. Okay, Red Hat. Let me use Red Hat here. Click next. Start using Red Hat Linux, and you're done. Okay, and this is how you set it up. Okay, so now let me quickly tell you, some differences between this student and root user. So when you install Linux, you have to set a password for the admin user account, which is root. Okay, and upon the first login or at first login, you have to create a non-root user. Why non-root? Like I created student. The reason is root user can run all the commands with whatever commands are there in the system for system admin work, but a non-root user has access to limited commands. Only those commands which will populate some result or it will extract some data. It will not change anything. We normally say non-destructive commands. Okay, so non-root user can only run non-destructive commands. Just to use these commands are used to extract data, prepare the reports and all. But if some changes are required on the operating system, maybe configuration changes, you have to install something, uninstall something, play with the hard disk, create partitions, you have to run root level commands as root. Okay, so again, root user and there is only one root user and multiple non-root users. Okay, so when you work as a Linux administrator, you don't log in as root, as I said. You log in as yourself. Like if I am working in my organization, I would be logging as my user, let's say Amit user, and then if required, I can become root. This is called privilege escalation. See, as an Amit user, I have limited access, limited rights to the command, less privileges. But if I become root, I am elevating my privileges and I can become root. Or even the second method is run admin level commands as root. So these are two different things. Either I completely become root. Become root means switch to the root user, or I run the admin level commands as root user. Okay, so this is how we do the system administration. We don't log in as root, even we don't have the root password. Root password is saved somewhere in a safe location that is called vault. You might be having vaults in your organizations. These are software based. Very rare you will see Excel files to maintain root password. Very rare, but most of the time you will see vault software used to store critical passwords, root level passwords, or API keys, API credentials like that. Okay, so this is how we do it, and this is the homework as well for you guys. Just try to download the ISO, register on Red Hat as developer. You will get 1 year license. We will use the license later, not required immediately. Second, download VMware player, create a blank machine first, and then attach the ISO. Power the machine on, do the installation, and then create a non-root user as well. Just like I did, I created student. This is what I prefer every time. Use a student username so that we are all on the same page. Okay. Once you are done, then click on activities, check the installed applications, check everything, check the system monitor, what it is showing you. There are three options: process, resources, file system. It is just like task manager in Windows, right? In resources, it tells you how much of CPU in use, memory, network. Processes will tell you what programs are running in the background, how much of CPU they are consuming, how much of RAM they're consuming, like that. Similarly, there is another one. um Okay, there is Red Hat Subscription Manager tool, which can help you register the system on Red Hat, and then you can get the timely updates. As I said, we'll discuss this part when we reach that topic. Okay, settings. This text editor, it's this just like a notepad in Windows. It's a notepad. You can create files, text files. Okay. And then we have one more thing called utilities. In the utilities, you will see disk usage analyzer, disks for partitioning and all. You can just explore all these options plus the settings. Okay, don't forget to get there. Check all the options. Okay, and once you're comfortable, okay, one more thing. Sorry, I forgot. Files. Just like in Windows, we have My Computer or Explorer. This is the program name. We have files in Linux. Okay, you can browse all the files which are created. I'll tell you where to go because right now you are in your home directory, or we can say, yeah, the home directory, the home location. So in your home location, you see these folders, just like in Windows, guys. When you create a user or you install Linux, or sorry, when you log in into Windows, you enter your home location. What is the home location? In my case, I'm logged in as Amit. So C drive, users, Amit F. So this is my home location. In my home location, I have so many directories, folders, files, like that. Okay, similarly in Linux, you will enter your home location. So we'll see these things in detail. It's too early to talk about what files are created and all. Before we get into the architecture, how Linux works, okay, it's a kind of a jump. So tomorrow we start with the basic architecture of Linux, how the Linux operating system functions, what are the core elements, how the command runs, all those things, and then we'll gradually go into the part where we learn the commands. Commands like starting with the basic commands like file level commands, navigation commands, system information commands, simple commands, so that you are ready to start the next chapters, upcoming chapters like process management, user management, hard disk management, like that. Okay, guys. So this is it from my side. If you have any questions, you can ask me. All right. So I'll take it as no. Okay, guys. So this is it. And thank you so much. And we'll meet tomorrow, same time. Till then, bye-bye. Good night.
Good
Thank
night,
you,
sir.
Sajid. Yeah, good night. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Thank you, sir.